Welcome, geeks, to another Ark step-by-step building tutorial. If you're brand new, I'm UniteTheClans, and today we are going to be building a fishing cabin in Ark. This thing is very cool. It's built on a rock in the middle of a lake in the middle of the Ragnarok map. It's stunning, and we give it a beach house style paint scheme that would make it work pretty much everywhere. I really like this tutorial, and I hope you do too. If you find yourself enjoying the video at any point, guys, remember to click the like button. Sit back and enjoy today's step-by-step Ark building tutorial.
This knife has a straight edge on it, so it's very easy. And maybe in our world here, there lives a happy little mountain.
What is going on, geeks? UniteTheClans here, back in your life from the amazing Ragnarok map. We're sitting here at 6232, not that far from where we were for our last Ark building tutorial. That's what we'll be doing today, a step-by-step tutorial, and today it's going to be on the log cabin you likely just looked at in the intro, and I'm coming at you from the Geeks Patreon server. So my patrons play here along with my friend Arali the Geek and his patrons, and this is the first offering we have made at a creative building server where everyone is an admin, where you can just spawn in the GPS, where you can fly around, and where you can carry an insane amount of stuff. It is a server designed for building to your heart's content, and that is what we're going to be doing today. So with that in mind, let's put away the GPS. You guys know where we are now, and you will see exactly what we're starting with. So if I turn on my HUD, on the hotbar to start, we have got wooden foundations, stone walls, stone pillars, wooden ceilings, and thatch ceilings. Once again, I've gone ahead and done 100 of each. That makes it easy for me to count how much I use. But I started off and I did a little prep work, guys. I wanted to see if I could get 3 foundations up here. I totally could. If you put in a little time and effort, you could likely do the same thing. But this is an amazing rock in the middle of this lake, and it called out to me for a cabin, for some sort of precarious looking fishing cabin. So this is just for me. Oh, and I know what I'm missing. This for me is the beginning of something. These wooden foundations are just here to get us started. And from there, we're actually going to line the entire thing with wooden fence foundations. So you'll take your little L-shaped 3-wide thing, fence foundations around the outside, and this is going to allow us to put pillars on the corners. And the pillars that we put on the corners are going to, I'm not sure about the positioning here. I can't remember if it matters too much. But once that's done, we are going to take pillars and we are going to sink them down into the rock on either side. Like so. Perfect. Alright guys, so this chunk of the build could be a little tricky depending on where you decide to build. A lot of things in Ark like this rock provide foundation support, other bits of it don't. So I've had to be very careful sinking pillars down and making sure they go into the ground, and you can see how far down we've had to go. In some cases, you're probably thinking that looks weird, and it does. So the next step is actually going to be stone walls. And what we're going to do is turn these wooden foundations into a sturdy stone foundation. And the idea of the pillars on the corners is one for looks. I think it looks good. I have done that before to make beefier, sturdier looking small stone buildings. But it has a twofold purpose. It is extending our foundation support. So when we go out in the next stage with ceilings, we are not just snapping to these, we have these to snap to. So that extends our foundation support by like a foundation in each direction. So I'm going to go ahead and slap in walls on either side, and you guys basically see what we have now. So take your 3 wooden foundations. You will want to wrap them in fence foundations, and from there you are going to drop pillars on each and every corner, sink them all the way into the ground, and then run walls down from there. And this is what you should have. It's looking good. It is just the beginning of something. So let's move on to the next step. So you are going to want wooden ceilings. Now this is going to be interesting. You are going to be able to build this quite large, but another thing to keep in mind, pay attention to which direction your wood planks are facing. They're going to want to shift and switch on you, and there may be a couple different positions here depending on how your pillars went in. Yeah, see that? Weird little gap. Let's make sure we get rid of that. Perfect. Alright guys, so if you just go ahead and place a wooden ceiling on each of the pillars, and one obviously, actually there is a pillar right here. There should be a pillar right here, so I'll go ahead and put one in. So this is going to be one of those tricky ones where I'm going to have to try and find a way to sink it under the ground. It'll be, there it is, a little bit of blind faith. And there we go. Okay guys, so this is going to be an interesting section of the build. If you just go ahead and place ceilings over the pillars, you are going to get a certain shape. I'm going to want you to go all the way around that once. Whoops. And I'm going to have to do this a little bit from memory. What we're going to end up doing is placing this all in wood, with the exception of the outermost layer. The outermost layer is going to get thatch. So I think that means, yeah. Okay, so we're almost at that point already. Let me see here. All right, guys, so that is the shape. I did do it right. So you want to go ahead and place one on each of the pillar tops and then one around the outside of that. And from there, you are going to be prompted to need these thatch foundations. Now, theoretically, you should be able to wrap another entire layer around the outside, assuming that we have foundation support from all the pillars. If you are unable to do this, it means that one of your pillars is not properly connected with the ground, as is the case with mine here. So I would have to go down and see if I could get this pillar to sink lower into the ground, and perhaps, yeah, there you go, solve my problem. So get your pillar to sink a little bit lower until it makes contact with the ground. I think I might have the same case here, but we are going to go ahead and slap these in. I'll have to make a couple of tweaks because I think I should be able to place them there and there as well. So I have a couple pillars, namely those two that need to be sunk a little deeper into the ground. So let me try and see if I can figure that out. I will be right back. And there we go, guys. With all the pillars properly connected to the ground, we have something that looks like that. It is a decently sized little foundation. I'm not really sure how to describe it to you size and shape-wise because it is so unusual, but you can go ahead and take your cue from that original L shape of 3 wooden foundations we built surrounded by pillars, ceilings built on top in wood, and then thatch for the outer layer. Build as far as you can go. If you can keep going far out, that's the one that should be thatch, and everything behind it can be wood, but we are at that point for us, and we're actually at the point in this video, guys, where we are in need of a break. So when we come back, we are going to begin building on this thing. We are going to begin putting our fishing cabin on here and bringing it to life. I hope you will join me for that. If you find yourself enjoying the video, if you've already enjoyed the video, click the like button, and when I come back, we will take on this fishing cabin together. Be back in your life in a moment. And welcome back, guys. When I left you, we had something that looked like this. We are going to take this humble platform that we crafted in the first chunk of the video and turn it into a beautiful fishing cabin. So when you're looking for where to start, take that original L shape of wooden foundations we had, pick one of the long sides here where you've got, actually pick this, does it matter? Yeah, pick one of the ends down here. I guess it depends on which direction you want things facing, but for me, this long end of the rock seems like the way you would want to approach the house, so I'm going to be adding a ramp in here. Now, these thatch ceilings that we placed, guys, they are not going to come into play immediately, but we are going to need them later, and I'll show you right now why. So typically, I would build a wall like that. In this design, what we're going to actually be doing is double layering the walls. Now that is the result of clipping, a clipping setting that you can change. Most PC servers have it this way, where you can clip the 2 pieces together, and it's a simple setting, I believe, that you can change on console, but that is how we're going to be doing things. So let's go ahead and get this out of here for now, and I want to show you the main shape of, oops, I'm going to show you the main shape. So right now I have wooden walls, wooden window frames, wooden door frames, sloped wall left and right. I have a sloped stone roof. You could totally use thatch, and I have ramps and railings. For now, you're going to want the walls, you're going to want the door frames, and we're going to go ahead and lay in a preliminary shape just so you can get an idea of the main orientation of this thing, the way that sort of the main tall arches of the house are going to face. So that's one of them. And it runs obviously along the same side as we're going to have our ramp entrance down here, and that will be an entrance over there. And then on this side, we're going to have nothing more than a little balcony. So over here, we are going to do, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be a door frame. We'll do door frames all the way across and stack them 2 high like we did in the middle. This will just be a simple window, and then we'll go ahead and do slope walls. So those are your 2 main big arches of the house. If I remember, one of them is going to get tweaked ever so slightly. Yeah, this one. So I have to undo one thing we did. Take that one out. That's actually going to be a full wall, and so is this beside it. And so now we're going to be coming up to an entrance, and we're going to need an entrance here. So let's go ahead and do a door frame. We're going to leave this one like this, and you can choose if you want to put a little railing right there. This is where I'm going to have my ramp, and then we're going to do like we have on the other little vestibules in the design. We're going to go ahead and put windows on the front, and then instead of doing an arch like this, you could totally do that, but one thing that you sometimes run into is your head clips against the top of the sloped roof. So if you do it like this, the stone roof will not cause this issue a lot of the time, but a roof that will occasionally cause that issue is the adobe one. So let's say you were using adobe or think thatch, you wouldn't want to build it like this because your head is going to bump into that roof and it's going to keep you from getting smoothly in and out. So when you need to do an entrance, and that's why we've got these double high doors here, you can do this and you can put your sloped roof on. And we're going to save putting the roof on till later, but I might as well show you what we got. It'll look something like that. So that is going to be an entrance. We're going to leave these, obviously, so we can continue, come back once we've selected some paint and decide on some double layering. Some cool techniques for that. Yeah. Okay, guys, this is coming together. So that is the beginning of the place. Let's go ahead and we'll go to the side that faces the entrance. You're going to be walking up here. This needs to be the most important part of the view. So we're going to grab window frames for this chunk of the build. We will do them. Whoops. That is wrong. Take this out. We're going to put a window frame like so. Another one here. Another one here. Oh, yeah. So if you guys find yourself building this, if you are inspired by this little design, if you take maybe even one tip or one trick out of it, I'll be a happy guy. But if you end up doing the whole design or something inspired by this in your world, I would love to see it. So consider sharing it with me. I am a geek for that kind of stuff. You can find me on Twitter at UniteTheClans. That is probably the best way to do it. And let's go ahead and do, this is a sort of creative choice I'm making here at the last minute. I think that is going to be the way that works for us. And I lied. I think instead of window frames here, you're going to want those, because what we're actually going to do on the front, you're going to want full walls, because on this side, instead of doing the lean-to, we're going to do another little arch like that. And so we'll go ahead and get you out, put another wall in here, and I think we're ready to actually slap a roof on most of this. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we've got to figure out what goes on this side here. It shouldn't be too complicated. Let's just go and we'll put a wall in the middle. That works for me. And for now, this is the shape we're going to be going with. So let's slap some roofs in. You guys will get a look at this, and we could we'll actually take out the thatch. I know I've had it in there. We'll take it out just so you can get a look at it, and I'll go ahead and put it back in. So they're crossing over here. I always do the left side than the right, because when that caused clipping issues, it was a total pain. So if it's still causing a clipping issue for you, that is the way to deal with it. And you come across to there. And once you've got the walls and the arches and everything planned out, the roof just comes together on its own. It's beautiful. I do love that. So, like I said, if you had to do it that way, you're going to look for left side and then right side. And that's, if one of them is showing up as red, try placing them in the other order. And so that is what we have got right now. Let's go ahead and do what I said we were going to do. I can go ahead and put these back in a second, anywhere that they're willing to go. And if you guys are just not painting the place, use these to do the straight double layering right now. We're going to come back and do that in the next chunk of the video. But for us now, I wanted to back out and show you what we had accomplished. So I do need to figure something out for over here. We need a deck, a dock, a fishing thing, and I think, oh, that's right. Okay, so I planned this ahead, and I laid down a pillar below. So let's go ahead and grab some wooden pillars. Put those on 9, and so I had, that is right, so I'd done this, and what we're actually going to do is go ahead and grab one of our stone pillars, and I think we're going to have it stone until it comes out of the water, because that seems like a cool way to do it. Can I get one below there? Something like that. Okay, so I had planned ahead. Let's go ahead and grab these. I forgot I did this, and I think once it clips through there, it actually gets foundation support right there. It does, so I wouldn't need to go all the way down. Oh, you know what? I think I did it perfectly this time, guys. I just redid it. I just broke everything and redid it. And so I did it by building down. I placed a ceiling there first, tried to get a pillar under it, and then I built down until I could do pillars sort of side by side using that technique for lowering them, placing one here, breaking that, then placing one right there. Then you break this one, go back and forth, and I managed to get it so that the top of the pillar doesn't stick through at all. So, and I don't have some weird drop in my my deck. So I'm going to recreate the same thing I had here. Put that here, put that here, put that here, put that here, and we'll go ahead and slap that chair out front. Put it right on the edge, right? Precarious, dangling on the edge. There we go. Okay, perfect. I like that. I think that is the start of something. We are going to add in one more bit of detail here, guys, and this is an unusual one. It's up to you how you choose to incorporate it, but where I have a lot of support extending out, I'm thinking about using ramps as, I guess, as supports. I don't know. Let me see here. So I think I would have to place a ceiling like that. Now that's snapping off this wall, and then should I be able to... Alright, so that's how I managed to do it. Is the ramp going to work? The ramp is totally going to work. So the ramp works off the top of a wall. Stays there? It does stay there. And then I can go ahead and delete the wall that was required to place it. And then I now have that, a little extended support. I think I'm going to just do maybe 2 of them. And the trick for it was building out with a ceiling, and then that ceiling is going to need something on top of it. So you're going to want to place a wall like that, a wall below, and then you should be able, to come in with that. Perfect. And that is going to look like a support. It's going to look like, I don't know what the word is for that exactly. And ooh, look what that ceiling does. That is a weird thing that we managed to get with the floors. Did I do the same thing over here? No, much less noticeable. Weird. Okay, let's see if I can just get rid of that. Yeah, that's better. Okay, way better. Cool. So yes, we need to double layer the walls. I need to potentially add in a little coat of paint. I'm going to see something that might look good on the outside of this, and I will be right back with you guys. And welcome back, guys. This is how we're looking. I am pretty happy with it. What we are going to be doing now is attempting to figure out, and I will keep my fingers crossed that I'm going to like this, we're attempting to figure out a paint scheme. So for the wooden walls here, we are going to want region 6, and that's the case for almost all the wooden bits. And I'm going to be trying what I hope is maybe a beachy color scheme. And we still have to double layer our walls, so we will get to that. But this is going to be potentially a 2-tone color scheme. So region 1 is actually going to paint both sides of this triangle roof, so you could hide that. Because we're double layering it, you're not going to have to, but if you were aiming to hide it, you could simply put ceilings across here and then another set of these arches on the inside there. But for us, nothing to worry about. So my idea here, hopefully, maybe, is to create a 2-tone sort of beach feeling color scheme. Now, of course, that is only part of it. We are going to make this thing a whole lot more complicated right about now by putting the thatch back on the outside and placing inside-out window frames inside those window frames. Now, you could certainly stop there. I think that is a cool look in and of itself. Actually, maybe we will do that. Interesting. I hadn't thought about how it would play in with the color scheme, because there is... Or you can pick and choose. You should be able to pick and choose where to do it. So let's see if we can make this happen. So no matter what, whatever we snap here is going to get foundation support from the same place this is getting its support. So it's actually getting it even without a wall in between, even without an inside-out wall at this level, it's being supported. So we can actually do some cool stuff. Like I said, we can pick and choose where we want to put our inside-out walls, where it looks stylistically good, and with the paint scheme in mind, that's going to be fun. So, is it this one? Yes. Okay, and we'll do that. So, okay. So that, I think, is our color scheme. So, the one thing I wanted to do to potentially solve an issue we'd have there, guys, is typically, if you weren't double layering things, you would have these yellow walls. You would have the walls here standing out as looking the same tan. Now, if you paint these in region 1, it would paint the back of these, which for us, I don't know if that would be good or not, because we're going to be leaving that unpainted. So you could have a little line like that. And if, assuming that you couldn't, I guess what I'm saying, guys, is whatever you paint the outside of the tiny little arches is also going to be on the inside. We've solved that by double layering. We don't have a bit of painted wood here. If you did, you could solve it by painting these in region 1, and then you're still going to get the light blue on the outside, but you're going to get tan on the inside. So it doesn't affect anything. I do like what we figured out here, guys. So what I'm going to do, I guess I'll keep you with me for a bunch of this. We are going to break out we're going to break out the light blue paint. We are going to slap a lot of it on this place. And the light blue paint is going to go consistently here in region 6. I'm going to not paint that little archway. I think it's going to get the tan paint. And we're going to pick and choose where to double layer our door frames. We will see. But I'll keep you guys with me for this aspect of it. This is something people don't do enough in Ark, and I think it's because some of the colors admittedly do look a little ridiculous. Okay, I think that whole upper area is going to be painted, so we'll go ahead and do this and this. Some of the colors are bright, and I imagine for most people, the first time you see that, you're going to think, no thanks. Especially if you paint all 6 regions, especially if every hint and every little bit of detail is changed by that. Okay, so I say this is going to have to go there. That means... yeah, okay. I think we're going to make it work. So that is our first coat of paint. I'm going to come around with this one, and we're going to be on region 1 this time. For region 1, of course, for the triangular bits, and that's going to paint both sides of them, like so. And then region 1 is going to paint the inside of these, which I think we decided we don't mind. So let's go ahead and do this. I am in creative, so I can always come back and make some adjustments, but I will try and get it right the first time for you guys. There's really only the one spot there that I was worried about, how we're going to paint it and which way it's going to come together paint-wise. This is going to be the same thing, but this is totally going to work. It's all the little triangles. So we'll do one here, here, and here, and we'll do one here and one here. And so that is the beginning of the paint scheme, guys. I guess it's up to me now to figure out where our double layered walls are going to come in and how to double layer them, because I really like the effect we got from that window frame. I'm wondering maybe just something like that, and maybe we just do it at the bottom level here for now. Now for the door, that's obviously, we already have the thing in place. I'm just going to double layer it like so. And then once we come out here, we're going to need to go back to what we had before. Do I want to double layer these windows, or do I like them as they stand? I think I'm not going to mess with these windows, guys. I think we're going to pick and choose where this is going to come into play. I'm going to do it on both these spots on the corner here. And I don't know how this is going to look on the inside, the window frame doubled with the wall. And let's go build up here. And we're definitely going to be coming in here and adding in those details. Okay, ooh, that one placed a little weird. Alright, I'm going to try something even weirder here. That's a door frame, creating an even stranger little pattern that we got going on. I'm into it. I'm into the weirdness that I have created with this build. I kind of like it, guys, I have to admit. Okay, so let's keep working away at it here. We're obviously going to do a door frame here, and I think I have come to love the concept of the window frames. We would need a piece here. And window frame, you got to remember, you're finding the right snap point. It has to be right. So those will go there and there. Perfect. But I generally, guys, I'm pretty happy with the way this is coming together. So what did I do over on this side? I did window frames, but only on the bottom level. That we can do too. Perfect. Now, if I wanted to, this is an interesting idea. Let's take a look at this. If I wanted to, guys, I don't have to use window frames to create the double layering technique. I could use doors, and that's gonna give me something slightly different. It's gonna connect up with the things above, like so, but it's not going to give us this little one in the middle. That is interesting. We could do some cool stuff with this, guys. I feel like we're onto something design-wise. So I'm hoping you're enjoying hanging out with me while I mess around with this. Today didn't seem like it was going to be the longest of. Should I just try? I think just a wall. Just a wall would look good. There we go. So that is an interesting way to do it. I'm pretty impressed with that. Okay, cool. I enjoy figuring some of this out on the fly, guys. It was fun last night going, okay, I got to build for tomorrow. I got an idea. I know what I'm going to do. Going to wake up, have coffee, listen to a little music. Boom. Bring this fishing cabin to life. Put that in place. Ooh. Okay, so I sometimes get, I'm going to point this out to you guys, I sometimes get a weird issue, and it usually has to do with the roof that is above us here. And I think I might have an issue snap point wise. That doesn't look like it lines up quite right, but it's going to have to work for now. I'm going to have to get rid of that. Those are so loud. It's unnecessary. I'll take a break. I have to wait a minute, and then I'm going to snipe it. Get rid of this stupid drop. BRB. Done. All right. So what I'm going to do, and you guys do not have to do this. You do not have to undo your work. I was going to say I can take these off. Let's actually see if we can avoid doing it. We're going to hide a little thatch just for the moment up here and up here, and that's going to give us something to snap our inside-out walls to for this level. So the issue I'm going to have is getting it to go where I want. So that should do it, right? Yes, that should do it. Okay, perfect. No, that's not right. All right, so coming on the inside, guys, I've managed to do that. And then I think I can probably pop in here. I took out the 2 door frames we had underneath. They are no longer needed to support what's above you. I'm not going to take out any of that. That's sort of necessary. Over here, you could take out all of these door frames. I don't think any of them are required. Nope, not at all. So we'll take that out. That opens up our space a little bit in here. And you're beginning to see some of the weirdness we get from double layering windows and walls, but I don't think it's that weird. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is add in, I think I'm going to choose to leave, I chose to do no technique here, chose to do nothing here, and then we just need to add in a little bit more of the detail around this. So it will be this one, and I'll flip you inside out, boom, and same thing right here. And this build has come together pretty quick, guys. If this is a new technique for you, this double layering of walls, it is one that you used to be able to do selectively. You used to sometimes be able to layer some walls together. Metal and adobe come to mind, and in some cases wood and stone would go together, but not with any predictability. And then they changed the clipping rules, which meant that it used to be that only it was S plus and mods that allowed you to clip whatever piece you want with another piece, and then Ark said, okay, we'll just make a setting for that, and if you want to use Structures Plus, you have to turn the setting on. If you want to use Structures Plus in the mode it's intended, which is probably the most popular building mod out there, although I see a lot of talk. I benefit a lot from having a Patreon community. They're the same people that play on this server and can come check out this build in person if they so desire. But I benefit a lot from a Patreon community, guys, because I have a bunch of people who are active and tapped into what's happening in the world of this game. And they're I don't know. It benefits me to be able to see what people are thinking. And a lot of people are getting a little bit ready to move on to some other mod other than Structures Plus. Now that's funny, probably just as it becomes official, but it's sort of gotten clunky. There's a lot to it. Structures Plus started as a building mod that would take all these building pieces we have here and enhance them, and it moved on to be more than that. It's all about automation now, and it is really a great building mod, but I guess it causes a lot of issues, and because it's trying to be the best of both worlds, the people who have it for the building get annoyed when the automation slows things down, and the people who have it for the automation get annoyed when the building stuff slows them down with crashes and updates and all kinds of things. All right, guys, I think... Ooh, a little bit of lag. Okay, sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and slap together an interior over here. I don't have anything special in mind, and we don't have a vast selection of mods to do an interior with. In fact, in the last house, I asked my patrons to do the interior for me, and they're like, you don't have enough decor mods. What are we supposed to do with just chairs and tables and stuff? So I will try to make the most of the vanilla stuff. We have done a completely vanilla build here today, guys. The only thing that you may not be able to do is double layer the walls, depending on your clipping settings. but if you can double layer them, dang, can you build something very cool looking. I'm pretty impressed. I'll step away from you guys. I will try to slap together a little design for the interior of the house, and I will be back in your life in just a moment. And welcome back, guys. So we are nearly complete on this little house. I hope you're enjoying. I'm using these pillars and the lines on the floor to line me up here. Is that a weird place? I think I can totally live with that. In fact, I think we'll reinforce it a little bit by doing that. So you come in. Let's put a door on this thing. Put a door right there. We'll give it a little coat of brown paint. I think that could totally work for us. Go ahead and close that in. Come inside to a almost entirely unpainted interior. The only spots that ended up getting any paint were these two windows we chose to slap a little extra paint on anyway, and that's because they have door frames on the other side of them, so they show. But you could choose not to have that at all. And then what I've done on the interior, guys, I kept it really stupid simple. You see this fireplace right here, and we can go ahead and stock it up. I'm sure I have the wood. Boom. Like I said, interiors are hard. They're not really my thing. But what I pictured here was a bunkhouse for a bunch of fishermen, for a bunch of maybe like weekend getaway type fishermen. Now, what we don't have is a spot where they would all fish. I would imagine there'd be some other docks down off here, but that won't be part of today's tutorial, I don't think. And there'd be a bunch of chairs and a bunch of benches, but when they come in, maybe they're taking their boats out. Maybe that's it. You take your boats out and you sail the rivers during the day and you do your fishing. You catch your saber-toothed salmon, you catch your coelacanth, and then you come back here, you retire here for the night. So you come on in, there is a roaring fireplace as you come up the ramp. Come around here, somebody's been cooking. Maybe I should have like a cook pot right here, that would be good. And then you have a big banquet style dining hall. You could even put a couple little the scorched earth vessels on here, but we didn't use anything from scorched earth, so I didn't bother today. You could put those on there, or mortar and pestle. Those work as like, it looks like a bowl with a tablecloth and a placemat, that sort of thing. And then we created this, a little space with this front room. It is the one part of the house that doesn't have any real double layering going on. These walls are not double layered, so I didn't bother with the interior, and we created a little bunkhouse. If you don't know this, you can use spray paint to paint the bunk beds. So I've got the frames all in brown, and then I've got shades of tan, brown, and sky, the colors that you see on the cabin, on the sheets, on the pillows, and on the mattresses. And that does it, guys. I am pretty stoked with how this adorable little house turned out. Let's go ahead and fly out. So there we go, guys. We are at 6233, and this is the final product. It is a fishing cabin painted in the style of a beach house with a cool double layered wall technique. We went ahead and decked out the interior like a bunkhouse, a big communal dining area, a big communal sleeping area, and this place is ready for a gang of fishermen to come here and go fishing, and the location is fantastic. So whether you end up building this build, you are inspired by this, or you just take on this location here on Ragnarok at 6233, tweet it at me, share it with me, and if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click the like button. That does it, guys. I'm UniteTheClans, coming at you with another creative build, another step-by-step tutorial built here on my Patreon creative building server. Shout out to my patrons. You guys allow me to wake up every day and do stuff like this. You help me pursue my dreams, so thank you. Come visit this place, let me know what you think, and yeah, that does it, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm UTC, and I will see you in the next video.